Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Wait, it's time already? Wow. We've just been preparing, for you all night, all morning, leading right up till now. Jam-packed stuff, full of a lot of bad news, actually, and some good. We'll get to as much of the good as we can, but geez, another bad day for America. A terrible day in Nashville, Tennessee yesterday. A domestic terrorist shot up the Nashville Covenant School. 6 people were killed, 3 children, I believe all about 9 years old, and 3 adults. Then police quickly moved in and took out the shooter, who was, interestingly enough, female, that identifies as a male. So a trans shooter shot up this Christian school, which is interesting. I guess he or she, him, went to the school, attended the school. 28 years old now. Just a very weird situation. So a biological female that identifies as a male.
Yeah, and this has been happening. We had the Colorado Springs shooter, right? Identified as non-binary, if you recall.
That's right.
We had the Denver shooter identified as trans.
Right.
Aberdeen shooter identified as trans, and Nashville shooter now identifying as trans.
What is that, 4?
That's 4 that we know of.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. But interestingly, police said, we don't know anything about mental health issues. Really? Okay. Because it seems pretty obvious that there's something going on there. Doesn't it?
Yeah, and this individual had an Instagram account where she went by the name Aiden, and Aiden / Audrey reached out to a friend just before going in and shooting up that school, saying, I plan to die today. This is not a joke. It's a suicide note. My last goodbye. I love you. I'll see you again in another life. The friend then alerted her father, and they alerted police. And unfortunately, it was
nobody did anything.
Too late. Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, she did call the non-emergency line. This friend, and she was put on hold for 7 minutes. But I don't know that a lot could have been done because there wasn't a specific, like, hey, I'm going here.
Right.
To do this.
Yeah.
Just very tragic. And when someone makes that decision, why do you have to take out innocent lives?
Yeah, it's so bizarre. Yeah, if you want to die, do it. I mean, it's preferable if you didn't, of course. We'd rather nobody commit suicide. But if you're that screwed up that you're willing to take other people's lives with you as you go, just start with yourself. Yeah. That'd be great.
Yeah, we're gonna get a manifesto at some point, and
there was a couple schools mentioned in it. There was another location of this school that was more heavily guarded, which is why they chose the one they did. The less secure of the two. Obviously, that's what happens virtually every time. Here is some video from the school cameras which show the shooter arrive on campus and shoot through the front door.
Yeah, so there's the Honda Fit speeding into the parking lot. I don't know. It's kind of interesting. What's the mindset of someone like this where they take the time to go and park their car in a parking space? Like if you're... Because what you're about to see is, it is disturbing. You don't see any victims in this video, but it's disturbing enough as she shoots up the front door to gain entry.
So it was locked?
I assume so.
Yeah.
But shoots through it there, and then makes her way through the school.
Wow.
You can see her coming in here. Yeah. Because instead of using the door, just crawl under the bar there after you shut out the glass.
Yeah.
Does the same thing to the next door, and then you see her in the offices. This is just disturbing stuff.
Sure is.
And heavily armed, And, of course, now the guns are the target. This happened, of course, at a gun-free zone. So,
dang it.
There you have it.
Jeez. Do we know if she specifically targeted the people that she shot, or was it just random?
I honestly don't know. It'd be hard to think that she would know specifically individuals there, that she attended.
28.
Yeah. So long ago.
3 9-year-olds. Unreal. And one of them was only 8, I think about to turn 9.
Yeah.
Just really horrific. A viewer of the program sent us a school yearbook photo of Audrey Hale, the apparent killer, circa 2003 as a first grader at the time. And there's the linked page, LinkedIn page of Audrey Hale as well.
It's too bad that the guys cropped this so much. Is the LinkedIn page shows the pronouns he, him.
Oh.
And there was some controversy of if that was a real thing. Oh, it was. Oh, I looked on my phone, and I think on the desktop, for whatever reason, the pronouns weren't showing up, but it was definitely showing up on the link on your phone. And there you go. I mean, just from an innocent childhood, look at that face, great smile, to a disturbed individual.
Really sad.
I mean, we should remember the victims. We got 9-year-old Evelyn Dykehouse, 9-year-old Hallie Scruggs, 9-year-old William Kinney, 61-year-old Cynthia Peake, 60-year-old Catherine Kuntz, who was the head of the school, and 61-year-old Mike Hill. And police did arrive quickly. They took her down quickly. It could have been so much worse, especially considering how armed to the teeth she was.
Yeah, they made sort of a not-so-veiled reference to Uvalde, saying that they would never wait around, that they would rush in and take care of the situation quickly, especially when children are involved.
Yeah.
So a little shot to Uvalde there, I think, as well. But they did react quickly and maybe stopped a whole bunch of other people from being killed, which, potentially could have happened in Uvalde as well.
Yeah, I mean, you saw in that video that we played, I mean, she was just walking around looking for victims, looking for sitting ducks. And so thankfully the police got in there.
Yesterday, as news was breaking about the tragedy in Nashville, President Biden made remarks at a White House event that were fairly interesting.
Fox News breaks in because they're told before he starts this event, he's going to address the Nashville shooting. Mm-hmm. This guy, watch that.
Room of the White House.
My name is Joe Biden. I'm Dr. Joe Biden's husband. And I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip. I came down because I heard there was chocolate chip ice cream. By the way, I have a whole refrigerator full upstairs. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. God. Ben, how are you, pal?
Wow.
One of the best guys in the United States Congress, Ben Cardin. Folks, welcome to the White House. It's a delight to have you all here. And who are those good-looking kids back there? They're your kids, all 4 of them? Yes. Well, stand up, guys.
This is incredible. It's incredible.
So watch this. Fox
John,
News.
we'll jump back in here. Considering the moment,
Like you.
We were told that the
shooting that just happened left 3 children dead, 3 adults dead, shooters dead, and we were told he would be addressing this off the top.
She used to be 3 years.
Yeah, it's rather surprising. I thought that a somber President Biden would have come to the podium here and addressed this school shooting.
So inappropriate. Wow.
Grotesque.
Wow. That is reminiscent, though, of Barack Obama. Do you remember when he addressed the Fort Hood shooting during his presidency? And he started out with this.
I want to thank my cabinet members and senior administration officials who participated today. I hear that Dr. Joe Medicine Crow was around, and so I want to give a shout out to that Congressional Medal of Honor winner. Good to see you.
These people.
My understanding is that you had an extremely productive conference. I want to thank all of you for coming and for your efforts.
This goes on for almost 2 minutes.
And I want to give you my solemn guarantee that this is not the end of a process, but a beginning of a process. And that we are going to follow up.
Oh, yeah. Got the Obama tooth whistle. We'd forgotten about that.
We are going to follow up.
Right.
Every single member of my team understands that this is a top priority for us. I want you to know that, as I said this morning, this is not something that we just give lip service to. We are going to keep on working with you to make sure that the first Americans get the best possible chances in life in a way that's consistent with your extraordinary traditions and culture and values. Now, I have to say, though, that beyond that, I plan to make some broader remarks.
So inappropriate. All right.
About the challenges.
Got it. As bad as that is, I think Biden's is worse.
Oh, yeah. He's laughing.
Biden was much worse. You come down there joking about ice cream? Wow. Having, again, noticing little kids and how attractive they are.
Remember, it's the Republicans that are the heartless ones. Mm-hmm. We got two examples of Democrats addressing the nation for the first time after mass shootings, and it's
crazy. That's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Nashville officials on the scene gave a press briefing, and when that finished, an anti-gun lobbyist hijacked the media attention, of course. So often is the case.
How ironic that this anti-gun lobbyist was so close. I'm not insinuating anything, but how fortunate that this individual was so close and was able to get right up there on the microphones, visiting town. Her story has changed on why she was in town, by the way, a couple of times. But this is just, these people are so inappropriate at all times. And yeah, look at this nonsense.
Okay, thanks.
Aren't you guys tired of covering this? Aren't you guys tired of being here and having to cover all of these mass shootings? I'm from Highland Park. Aren't you guys tired of this?
Yeah.
Family vacation with my son, visiting my sister-in-law. I have been lobbying in D.C.
Yeah, we don't care.
Since we survived a mass shooting in July. I have met with over 130
and this goes
lawmakers.
On and on until they go, oh, wait, maybe we should cut away from this. How are our children still dying, and why are we failing them? Gun violence is the #1 killer of children and teens. It has overtaken cars. Assault weapons are contributing to the border.
We don't want to hear her anymore. She really did hijack.
Yeah, absolutely.
The news conference. Wow. Jeez.
Aren't you guys tired?
Yeah, I'm already tired of listening to you, frankly. So why don't you beat it? ABC News tried to imply that a recent law passed in Tennessee was to blame for the shooting. It's amazing how fast this happens.
All right, that is Police Chief John Drake of Nashville, who is briefing reporters on the deadly grade school shooting in Nashville at the Covenant School there this morning. The police confirming 6 dead, 3 children, 1 8 years old, 2 9 years old, and 3 adults, including Catherine Kuntz, who is the head of the Covenant School. The police chief also said that the shooter has been identified as 28-year-old female Audrey Hale. Said she's a former student of the school, and confirmed that Audrey Hale was identified herself as a transgender person. State of Tennessee earlier this month passed and the governor signed a bill that banned transgender medical care for minors, as well as a law that prohibited adult entertainment, including male and female impersonators, after a series of drag show controversies in that state.
Yep, that's what they did. The law against dragging children to drag shows. That's what's to blame for this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. I mean, and
unbelievable.
It went on and on yesterday with the media,
including Joy Reid on MSNBC last night.
And Michelle, this is coming at a time when the First and Second Amendments are in a real tension, right? Not real tension among the public. I mean, it's like an 80-20 issue. Even gun owners overwhelmingly want stronger gun laws. It's just, as Shannon said, the gun lobby and the politicians they own that are refusing to let it happen. But you have this in the state of Tennessee, which, ironically is the Scopes monkey trial state, right? Where they used to have a law against teaching evolution in public schools. They now are racing to enact these First Amendment limiting laws to limit things like drag shows. You have rampant book banning. I think Tennessee might be the most aggressive book banning state, even more so than Florida. And so they're essentially saying it's too dangerous to allow children to be exposed to a drag show. A drag queen is dangerous to children. These books are dangerous to children. But when it comes to guns, they're like,
sexualizing
where children. It is an irony that's hard to get away from during this time of moral panic over books, history, and drag shows.
What books are being banned in Tennessee? I want to know. What books have they banned in Tennessee?
If you don't want books available to children, whether in the school library
that are about sex of any kind
or through curriculum,
then you're banning books.
Like literal pornography.
I can't take it.
If you don't want children to have access to pornography, you are evil in their eyes. It's so sick. It's so sick.
It is.
We're out of words to describe this. But, that's just scratching the surface there on the media yesterday. You had USA Today. This is rich. Okay, USA Today wants to make sure that we don't misgender the killer, okay? Police on Monday afternoon said that the shooter was a transgender man. Officials had initially misidentified the gender of the shooter. Oh, sweet Lord. Are you kidding me? Are you serious? Okay, we've got Newsweek. Drag shows and gender-affirming care for minors were banned in Tennessee this month, while assault weapons remain legal. Just like Joy Reid. Tennessee had it coming, y'all. They had it coming. And then, of course, this NBC reporter, this Benjamin guy, I don't know what his last name is. Let's see. He says NBC has ID'd the Nashville shooter as Audrey Hale, 28, who identifies as transgender and had no previous criminal record. Nashville is home to the Daily Wire, a hub of anti-trans activity. Are you for real? These people are sick. Not just the transgender people out there that are so over the edge and want to bring your children into the fold so that they can destroy them right before your eyes. It's also their allies in the media and in politics. And this country, we have lost our mind. It is absolutely irretrievable at this point. You can't communicate with these people. They are insane.
Indeed, they are.
End rant.
Wow.
I mean, what is this? Remember when we had the targeting?
I don't know what to say.
I know. There's nothing. There's nothing. But Gabby Gifford's shooter, who was not a conservative. Remember the whole thing with Sarah Palin targeting districts? Oh my gosh, this guy was inspired, incite to violence by this post by Sarah Palin. But Jane Fonda can go on the air a week ago and say we should probably murder pro-life Christians. Well, what the hell just happened? I swear, how do you exist in a country with people like this on the other side?
It's difficult. It's difficult, which is why people talk about the national divorce. Because if this is the kind of country you want, where it is perfectly okay to basically say that this shooter was virtually justified in the shooting because of the laws passed, I mean, that's essentially what they're saying. Well, Tennessee just passed anti-trans legislation. So what do you expect? What? I mean... Unbelievable. And the sexualization of children. Why is that okay now? Why is that okay? How in the world did we get to this place where lefties think that it's perfectly fine to do whatever you want in front of children or to invite children to these shows? And there should be no laws against it. We should be able to subject all of these kids to whatever we want, as long as it's an alternative lifestyle. If they were subjecting kids to heterosexual shows of some sort, there is no way they'd be okay with that. But because it's trans and drag, perfectly fine and completely acceptable. And they can do whatever they want with children under those circumstances. Wow, it is a sickness. It is a disease right now that is just festering and destroying this nation.
I tell you, your kids, they don't matter to these people.
No, they not at all.
They are a means to an end. And Billboard Chris posted this. You know, I mean, they don't care what happens to your kids, and then they walk away, and all the damage is done to them for the rest of their lives if they decide to get chopped up. And God bless Tennessee and other states that are trying to prevent this. But Billboard Chris, he posted this, documented risks in not affirming a child's delusion that they are the opposite sex. Gender dysphoria vanishes. Body parts are intact. They're not sterilized. They have menopause at 50 instead of 15 if you leave them alone. Lack of pain and numbness, adult sex life, ability to breastfeed, beautiful family. These are things that you take away from them if you get in there and start chopping them up. And I just cannot believe how rapid we have gone in this country. I thought we all agreed, left and right, remember when radical Islam, right? They were genital mutilation. Everybody was like, "Oh, that's terrible." I thought everybody was like, "Oh, that's terrible," but now it is madness where we are as a nation. It's indescribable. How could you see this coming? We've seen a lot of crap coming. This one, this destruction of children in a physical, mental, spiritual sense, just in one fell swoop, it's damning for a nation.
It's despicable. And again, it's rotting the nation from the inside out. Let me welcome a brand new sponsor to the show. It's Fast Growing Trees. This is an awesome company. I love it because I found that the plant that I was looking for at a price that was great, and you'll be able to as well. You can breathe some life into your own backyard with fastgrowingtrees.com this spring. From shade to fresh fruit to privacy and natural beauty, let fastgrowingtrees.com help you plant your dream garden with their expert advice and fast, reliable shipping at a price that you can afford. With Fast Growing Trees 30-day Alive and Thrive guarantee, you know everything will look great.
Oh, nice. So if you're like me and you kill plants by just looking at them,
you got 30 days to fix it.
Yeah, you'll know by then if it's going to take in the ground.
It's really awesome. Join over 1.5 million happy Fast Growing Trees customers. Go to fastgrowingtrees.com/Pat right now, and you'll get 15% off your entire order. 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com/Pat.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Then, of course, also in the South, we had the just really devastating tornadoes that rambled through Mississippi and Georgia. Jeez, I mean, a mile-wide EF4 strength tornado. Just, it's almost inconceivable.
Yeah, one on the ground for 59 miles.
Oh, jeez.
Can you imagine that?
59 miles. So there is a wide swath of just total destruction. It went through Rolling Fork, Mississippi, and almost just wiped the town from the face of the earth.
Yeah, 85% of the town of, is it 2,000, I think?
Yeah, 3, I think so.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Affected. I mean, look at that. I mean, incomprehensible.
Wow, just absolutely devastating.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. Where do you go from there?
Yeah, and the nearest hotel is over an hour away. And so, like, where do you stay while you're trying to pick your life up and get it back in order? Can we show the side-by-side pictures, the before and after, Kayla, of this town? It really puts into perspective what happened there. Okay, so there's one. Let's roll through these here. Just leveled. That place is just completely gone.
Wow.
All right, what else we got here? That's gone. Top of those buildings, those homes.
Yeah.
And then, there's like a strip mall.
Complete devastation.
Yep. God bless them.
85% of the city gone. That's unbelievable. But you can help the victims of these massive tornadoes at mercury1.org. Remember, your entire donation, 100% of it goes right to helping out the people in this disaster, because we have the event in the fall that pays for all the administrative stuff. So everything you donate goes where you plan it to go, where you want it to go, and that's to help the victims of this incredible tragedy. So go to mercury1.org if you can help right now. Mercury1.org. They also have the phone number up there, 972-499-4747, if you want to donate over the phone. Speaking of dramatic footage, have you seen this from a freeway in Los Angeles?
Yeah, this is getting some traction out there. Watch this. Watch the pickup truck. Watch his tire come off. Watch what happens here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Now, I had not seen that yet.
And watch the truck. The tire comes back for more. See, it's adding insult to injury. But the truck, thankfully, was able to get over to the side. What? So yes, it's dramatic what happened to the black vehicle, which, by the way, everybody's fine. I kid you not. The guy in the truck, look at this. He's got 3 wheels now. He slides over to the right, and this big rig that was going by was able to slow down enough.
That's incredible.
To not run him off of the road. Everybody is okay. Minor injuries in that black vehicle.
Wow.
That is Russian dash cam video stuff.
Sure is.
If you've ever...
I've never seen anything like that, where you just flipped completely over the tire?
Mm-hmm.
What are the odds of that happening? Man, it had to hit it just right in order for all of that to happen.
I would have thought that would be me in that black car.
He is crazy. And everybody's okay.
Everybody's okay.
As we always assumed with Russian dash cam videos. Yeah, everybody's fine.
Have to.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be showing this.
Yeah.
Everybody's fine. So,
just another day in L.A.
Wow. Let me see that one more time.
He likes this one.
That is really... That's amazing. Watch your tire just pops off.
That's
oopsie daisies.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you just came from the Walmart Tire Center, bro.
Gosh.
There's a lawsuit coming against whoever put that tire on.
And then how does the tire come back at him and smash into the back of him again? That is bizarre. And incredible that everybody was okay in that accident.
It's amazing.
Oh, man, that looked bad. Wow. If you had to guess, would you think... that was a fatal traffic accident, you would think. Jeez. All right, 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Just a reminder of the other social media locations that you can check us out on. YouTube.com/Pat Gray. I think we're out of the YouTube doghouse right now, so that's exciting. I believe the whole show will be posted on YouTube.
Well, we don't know. It's still early.
That's true.
We could probably
that is very
true. Somebody. Sure.
Rumble.com/Pat Gray Unleashed. At Instagram, it's Instagram.com/Pat Unleashed.
Yeah, Riley's been putting a lot of good stuff up on all these socials. Appreciate it.
And Facebook.com/Pat Unleashed.
Yeah, there's extra content there, y'all. It's not just, stuff from the show.
Right.
So
yes,
get over there and check it out.
Riley
I'll tweet
works
out
really hard to get good quality material up there every day.
He played some interesting TikTok videos recently for us and had us react to them, and so I'll be tweeting that link out later today. It's a short on the YouTube page right now, youtube.com/ what is it? Pat.
Oh, youtube.com/Pat Gray.
Pat Gray.
Yeah. youtube.com/Pat Gray. And of course, don't forget you can subscribe to the Blaze, blazetv.com/Pat, and then you can have access to all of our stuff. The overtime, everybody's overtime on the Blaze. Of course, Glenn's Wednesday shows that are so good. So do that.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Welcome. Great to have you with us. Thanks for being here. Got some tweets. Marty Boy 23 tweets, "It's a sad day in this country when the POTUS would rather speak about ice cream than the victims of the tragic shooting. This guy sucks." Yeah, to say the least. Comrade Eliza, "Yes, I am tired of mentally ill, evil people killing innocents." Yeah, I think we all are. Sons of Thunder 42, "The left is willing to blame everything but the shooter every time." Chris Stubbs, "Left blows holes in their own gun laws. And gender dysphoria is a mental illness." How dare you, Chris? How dare you assert that? Something that the American Medical Association has not asserted for about 5 years, maybe 6 or 7. So you're talking ancient history here, practically medieval times, when we believed gender dysphoria was mental illness. What is this? 1242? Is that what this is?
1242. Wow. Time flies.
It does.
Because it doesn't feel like...
When you're not having fun, it still flies.
Right. It doesn't feel like 1242 was...
No. It feels
long ago.
A little further along than that. But McFlurry tweets, "After listening to those media clips, I can't help but think that this country is done for." Oh, man, it feels like it every day. It really does. Flood 2000, "You ask about the sexualization of children. 20 years ago, parents began granting children unfettered, unmoderated access to the internet and cameras. We're seeing the predictable outcome." True enough. And Linda Rosius, question regarding Joy Reid. Why isn't cultural appropriation? Why isn't it cultural appropriation when she has blonde hair?
When she has blonde hair. Oh.
That's a really good question.
Yeah, Joy Reid with the blonde hair. That is cultural appropriation.
A great look at that.
Nice point.
That can't be natural, right? So, exactly. But of course it isn't. White people have no culture. I don't know if you're aware of that, but we don't have a culture. So,
that's what they want you to. That's where they want you.
Yep.
And that mindset right there.
Yep. White people don't have culture.
You don't matter.
You can't appropriate their culture. They don't have one. Oh, okay. All right. If you say so. Also, this isn't disturbing at all. Armed Russian jets have flown over the U.S. military base in Syria every day in March, violating a 4-year-old agreement between the U.S. and Russia. Yet Biden does nothing about it. Wow. Russian jets have violated the airspace about 25 times this month. Well, let's see. It's the 28th, so almost every day.
Well, this story's a couple days ago.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So we probably
so it is
they probably didn't break their streak.
Compared to 0 times in February, 14 in January. In addition, Russian aircraft have confidently acted aggressively toward U.S. bases in a way that's not typical of an organized military force. They're regularly flying directly overhead of our units, and I've defined directly overhead as within about a mile. No more than a mile offset one side or the other, while we've got forces right there on the ground at ATG. That's according to Lieutenant General Alexis Grankowitz, Combined Forces Air Component Commander for the U.S. Central Command there. So it's an uncomfortable situation. Yeah, you think? Grankowitz believes the Russian military has no plans to use weapons against the United States. However, he says it does increase the risk of miscalculation. Well, yeah, and it makes us look pathetic and weak when we just allow it. Yeah, go ahead and fly over us as many times as you want with your armed jets. We'll just sit here and take it. We won't do anything about it.
Nope.
Wow.
900 troops apparently in Syria.
And why?
Exactly.
They were supposed to be gone years ago under Trump. Get them out. Wow. Some Russian aircraft carry air-to-air weapons, and others have air-to-ground munitions. These weapons can include radar-guided and heat-seeking missiles and bombs. But don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
So that was an agreement, right, between
4 years ago. Yeah. Yes. Let's see. Yeah, it would have been Trump and Putin would have agreed not to do this. In 2019, the U.S. and Russia, they created They created an agreement to fly over Syria to avoid accidental provocative encounters. Both countries agreed that direct overflight of each other's positions on the ground, especially with armed aircraft, was unacceptable. And yet we're accepting it.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Jeez. Coming up on Overtime today, we have some video from inside Ukraine showing what the U.S. tax dollars are supporting.
Oh.
And it's not necessarily comforting, I think you'll find.
Sounds
good. If you're not signed up at blazetv.com/Pat, please do that so you can enjoy that. And I think we have like 12 overtime shows that are done every day, something like that.
My word, that's a lot going on.
It's
there.
a lot. It's a lot.
That's in addition to the regular shows that we have.
In addition to the regular shows, where you get to watch as well as listen to them, and then the overtime as well.
I would venture to guess that if you tried to watch every Blaze show every day, there's not enough hours in the day. There's There's probably more content there, new content every day, than there are hours in the day. So
for sure.
So there's a lot to choose from. There's something for everyone over there. But, okay, so you had the story about the Russians flying over U.S. positions in Syria. That's probably the only example of us getting disrespected in the world, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm sure, because, you know, the world respects us so much under Joe Biden.
Absolutely.
I mean, he was gonna put fear into our enemies and love into the hearts of our friends. And man, has he done that?
Yeah.
No. The world is not afraid of us under Joe Biden. I think that's pretty clear, right? Even the Russians, who've been proven to be a third-rate power, they're testing us. They're trying us. They're disrespecting us. And it's not just Russia and their jets flying over our troops in Syria, but Saudi Arabian TV as well, making fun of the President of the United States on a regular basis.
Saudi Arabia. Here we go. There he is. There he is. Powerful. Oh, boy. Yep.
I mean, do I like that the Saudis are doing this? No. Yet. Could they not have found somebody that looks a little bit more like Joe Biden?
Or Kamala. Oh, he's got to get on the plane now. I wonder what's going to happen here, Pat. Oh, no. I love the sound effects from the 1920s. Oh, no. Oh, okay. All right, get up, bro. There we are. All right.
Okay. I mean, is it well done by the Saudis? No. No, it is not.
I love that's our takeaway. Look, are they mocking the President of the United States openly?
Mercilessly. Yes. But does he look that much like our president? No, he does not.
Are the sound effects fresh and hip?
No, they're not.
So the lighting sucks. The actors
the sound effects are bad.
Come on.
Forget it.
So, deal with that.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, won't you?
That's all we got.
That's all we have.
That's all we got.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Meanwhile, another one bites the dust. Biden FAA nominee. So I think I said last week that he dropped out. Well, he hadn't yet, but he did now. He has now. The FAA nominee withdrew because the Senate was pretty shaky on support for him. And they should have been, because he knew not one answer to, what was it, 13 questions?
Well, here we go. Let's relive the moment here.
All right, let's do it.
So, Mr. Washington, can you quickly tell me what airspace requires an ADS-B transponder?
Not sure I can answer that question right now.
That's okay. We'll just keep going. So that's a pretty important part. So what are the 6 types of special use airspace that protect this national security that appear on FAA charts?
Sorry, Senator, I cannot answer that question.
Okay, so what are the operational limitations of a pilot flying under basic med?
Senator, I'm not a pilot, so...
but obviously you'd oversee the Federal Aviation Administration, so any idea what those restrictions are under basic med? Quickly?
No.
Quickly.
Well, some of the restrictions, I think, would be high blood pressure. Some of them would be...
It's more like how many passengers per airplane, how many pounds,
swinging
in different categories, and what altitude you can fly under. So, and then amount of knots. It's under 250 knots. So it's not having anything to do with blood pressure. So can you tell me what causes an aircraft to spin or to stall?
Uh-oh, here we go.
Again, Senator, I'm not a pilot.
He's not a pilot.
Let's keep going. What are the 3 aircraft certifications the FAA requires as part of the manufacturing process? Quickly, please.
Yeah, I don't know.
3 aircraft certifications.
You got this. We believe in you, Mr. Washington.
Again, what I would say to that is that one of my first priorities would be to fully implement that Certification Act and report.
You know the 3 types, Mr. Washington? The 3 types? Okay. Yeah, that's type certificate, production certificate, and airworthiness certificate. Okay. All right. Let's just keep going, see if we can.
That's what I was going to say.
Get lucky here.
It was right on the tip
Can you
of his
tell me
tongue.
what the minimum separation distance is for landing and departing airliners during the daytime?
Just 3 feet? I don't know. 3 feet.
I don't want to guess on that, Senator.
Are you familiar with the difference between Part 107 and Part 44809 when it comes to unmanned aerial standards? Unmanned aerial.
He's got this one.
Unmanned
this one
drones.
he's got.
Are you familiar with the difference?
Yes.
Okay. You know the difference between those 2, Part 44809 and Part 107?
I was just going to say.
No, I cannot.
I can't. Okay, he doesn't know.
Boy. 0 for 13 he went.
Jeez.
That's not good.
Not good.
That's not good. And how comfortable do you feel if you're flying into Denver International Airport today? The guy who heads it up
knows nothing about it.
He doesn't even know how close the planes are supposed to be to each other there. So
that's great.
Happy travels, y'all.
I mean, to get a driver's license, don't you have to know some things about driving on the road?
Seriously.
This guy knows nothing, and he's applying for the job of the head of the FAA?
So
wow.
let's say you were in that seat right there, and they asked you, what's a safe distance? What was it? Daytime, flights? What was the question? I don't know. Airport, runway? I don't know. Let's just see if I can find it here. Would you take a guess? Because I bet you would do. I mean, he didn't even guess.
No, he didn't.
Safe runway length. Okay. How? What is a safe runway length? Oh, that's the length of the runway. I don't know. I was trying to find
space between planes, something like that.
Yeah, space between planes. Yeah. Do that.
I don't know.
You don't have a guess?
I'm going to say 2.5 feet. You got to be at least 2.5 feet away from each other. Is that close? Am I? Is it a foot? It's foot and a half?
I don't know. I think you're close.
Okay.
This is from Quora. Not the end all be all here, but when there are multiple planes waiting to take off from a given runway at an airport, what is the minimum safe distance or time between them? Is it the same for landing a plane? It looks like, I don't see it here, but it looked like the best answer was 4 nautical miles.
No.
Wow.
What? That's
2 minutes. Separation. Well, those things are moving fast, so
yeah,
I'm sure a pilot will chime in on Twitter or call us or something.
4 miles, wow!
But
that's more than my 1.5 guess.
I just don't want to guess here.
Yeah. Why not? I mean, you don't know. It looks worse to say I don't know.
Now, if
every single question,
if they're the same altitude, it's 5 nautical miles.
Okay, so that's not once they're on the ground. How far apart do they have to be?
Again, I don't know exactly what the question was there.
Yeah,
I just know
5 miles in the air. That makes sense.
I just know that everyone listening right now is as qualified for the head of the FAA job as that guy.
Yeah, and maybe more qualified. Late last week, the NORAD commander was in front of Congress answering questions about the Chinese spy balloon. This was fun too.
Thank you very much. Now. General Van Herk, with regard to these letters, I have a number, I have received quite a bit of information from talking to you about this balloon incident, and you mentioned it in your statement. So let me just go through some quick questions so we can understand who knew what about the Chinese balloon. You first learned about this on January 28 of this year. Is that correct?
Senator, I learned about it on January 27th. Okay. We first detected it by radar, my sensors, on January 28th in the vicinity of St. Matthews Island, Alaska.
Okay, and that's United States territory, right?
That's correct.
And you notified your chain of command on that day, January 28th, right?
Chain of command.
I had a conversation on the evening of the 27th with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff about my plan to intercept and identify and make an assessment, which we did on the 28th of January.
And you sent that notification to Secretary of Defense Austin, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Milley, via classified email, correct?
I sent it to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and to Secretary Austin's military assistant. I'm assuming that the military assistant passed it to the secretary.
Okay.
Okay.
You're
and
assuming.
you still are not certain at what point President Biden or Secretary Austin were made aware of the balloon. Is that right?
I do not know when the president was made aware.
Fine. And when you confirmed the balloon's existence on January 28, you tasked NORTHCOM, your command, with preparing options to counter the balloon. That's correct also.
I tasked my NORAD team to develop options. And, Senator, what I'd point out is I have options every single day to defend our homeland. In this case, the balloon did not meet the requirement or the authority for me to engage it because it was not demonstrating hostile intent or committing a hostile act. Hostile intent would be maneuvering to an offensive advantage on a platform, an airplane, or shooting missiles or weapons would be hostile.
Pause it for a second. All right. So a spy balloon floating above the United States of America, taking surveillance of important areas of our country, all over the country.
Yes.
I mean, it went from Alaska all the way to the East Coast and was then finally shot down. That's not a threat. You just allow a foreign entity to fly intelligence balloons over our country and don't worry about it.
Well, he's saying based on the definitions of when he is allowed
I know, but it's asinine.
to engage. I agree. I agree
It's
completely.
asinine.
So he's got to wait.
We got to use our noodles here.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If you can't engage a spy balloon, if you can't figure out that's a threat to our national security, we're done.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're just done.
I agree 100%. But see, he's supposed to wait for instruction from up the chain of command.
Asinine.
But instead, 5 days passed from when he first assessed that.
Right.
6 days. We're on the 6th day before the guy in Billings goes, hey, what the hell's that above my state right now?
And it was then?
That's
and
when
only then.
Yes.
That they decided, maybe we should do something about because the American people are going to be pissed.
Yep. They were going to let it go. I swear they would
If
let
the
this
guy in
thing
Billings
go.
hadn't seen it, it would still be floating above our country.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I agree 100%.
That's just unbelievable. That is just unbelievable.
He still hasn't gotten an answer if the commander-in-chief is aware of the balloon being up there or not, based on his report that he sent in.
Wow.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
I got some tweets. Megan Cable tweets, I'll take a mean tweet aimed at political opponents over making jokes in the wake of innocent children dying anytime.
Yes.
Send Joe and his fridge full of chocolate chip ice cream packing. Yes, please. It's unreal. Agent Yogi tweets, does that Saudi clip fit the whiteface definition?
Oh
my.
Oh, okay. That's right. Don't be putting all that white face makeup on.
Right?
You jerks.
High Plains Stranger, it feels like the sheepdog has been neutered and the shepherd has lost the flock. As a nation, we're wandering aimlessly in the wilderness, surrounded by wolves.
Yeah.
Tamara B. tweets, to be fair, he should have asked Mr. Washington, who was the FAA nominee, what is an airplane? Senator, I don't. Congressman, I'm not Orville or Wilbur Wright.
Oh,
I've
right.
never built an air. I don't know. I don't know.
How could you?
I'm not an engineer. I don't know. Iota of a Cracker tweets, Mr. Washington, do you know what the letters FAA stand for?
That's a gotcha question, Congressman.
Finding a lot of ants.
Finding a lot of ants?
Yeah, that's yes.
Is that? Can we fact check that before we continue with this hearing?
By the way, did we find out the distance on the runway between two planes?
It looks like it's
needs to be
2,500 feet, if I'm reading this correctly.
Okay, 2,500 feet on the runway.
Okay.
And I think you said 5 miles in the air?
Yeah. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
But honestly, it's like the guy didn't even Google.
No, I know.
Airport facts.
I know.
Before he sat down.
How are you the head of the Denver airport and you don't know any of that stuff? You don't know any of it? Really? I don't think you have to be a pilot to know some of that stuff.
You got to love that DEI, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, man, no kidding. Giblets tweets, this guy clearly knows as much about FAA regulations as Pete Buttigieg knows about transportation.
You got to love that
Just saying.
DEI, ladies and gentlemen.
On that one as well. Yes. The DEI works for a lot of different people in this administration. In fact, all of them, really.
Yeah.
Were any of them chosen because they're the best qualified person for the position? I don't think so. I don't think a single one was. They're either, a minority or they're from an alternative lifestyle group or, it's identity politics. DEI, diversity, inclusion, equity. Diversity, equity, inclusion. When it should be diversity, inclusion, equity, then you got die, which is what the country is doing right now. We're dying.
Or dead.
Also in front of Congress was the head of a gun safety group who was asked a straightforward question by a Representative Tom Tiffany at an ATF hearing. And that went really well, too.
If a person lies on Form 4473 and is a user of unlawful drugs, you can get between 5 to 10 years for that. Is that correct? Is that my understanding?
No, I believe Congress changed the sentence last Congress.
What is that sentence now?
Up to 15.
Up to 15 years. Why hasn't Hunter Biden been prosecuted for the crime that he committed?
I'm not aware of the facts of that case and can't comment on it.
Okay.
You're
not
who did you
aware.
talk to
Where-
see
where
why
have you
this
been?
case is not being prosecuted?
Who did we talk to?
He said very clearly in his book that he used drugs. He had a gun, at least a gun.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
What? What?
See, point of order.
Totally irrelevant and not germane to this proceeding.
Sir, he's got his 5 minutes. Go ahead, continue.
That's not a court of law.
Okay, so I understand why you do not want Mr. Wilcox to answer that question. It's very clear why you don't want, because there's a dual system of justice in America.
Nice.
That's what's going on right now, and everybody's talking about it across America. There's two standards of justice that are going on.
Yes, sir. Exactly right.
I appreciated everything
That's awesome, yeah.
99% of what he said. There is no T at the end of a cross. You don't say across.
Right. It's amazing how many people say across.
Bro, I lived in Nebraska.
Oh, man.
I know.
Across.
But I love that. I mean, thankfully, someone is saying it. Like, yeah, there's absolutely two systems of justice. You try that? You try lying on a federal form about anything, whether it's a gun, your taxes, fill in the blank. You lie to the federal government on a form and then sign your name to it? You think you're walking free, making shady deals around the world under your daddy's name? I don't think so.
No, you're not. But if your name is Hunter Biden, you're fine. Don't worry about it. You got the protection of the President of the United States. It is a dual system. It's a dual justice system. They live by separate rules than we do. We can't get away with that kind of stuff. It's amazing. Meanwhile, Americans are struggling under Joe Biden, and taxes are due 3 weeks from today.
Yeah. Neat.
April 15th is 3 weeks from today. And we're not getting any kind of COVID break this time.
Oh, right. No.
So,
hey, I do appreciate the, is it the Juneteenth? No, that's June. Duh. What is why are we moving it back a day there? Why? Because, the 15th obviously falls on a Saturday.
Oh, okay.
And the 16th, and then we got the 17th is a Monday. Is that a federal holiday? What is that for? April 17th? I'm just trying to figure out why it's moved to Tuesday. I'm not.
Oh, it moved to Tuesday?
Yeah, Tuesday the 18th. I'm just trying to
I didn't
figure
know
out.
that.
I'm good. I need as much time as I could possibly get. So I'm just trying to figure out.
I usually file for an extension every year.
Let's see here. It's not a federal holiday. I guess they just don't want it to fall on a Monday. Wow, you're so gracious. Thank you, federal government.
Yeah, that's how benevolent our government is. They just gave us an extra day. That's really nice.
Thank you.
So really, you wind up with, 3 extra days, kind of. You got Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Cool.
And then you got to get them in on Tuesday. So Tuesday the 18th this year. That's great. And if you have a negative view of the IRS, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen wants you to know why you have that negative view of the IRS.
Oh, yeah.
Here she is telling us about it.
Okay.
Can you tell me if you have an opinion on what the IRS's reputation is amongst the country? Have you done any polling or anything like that to see what generally taxpayers think?
What do we think?
Wealthy people, bottom. I mean, are they kind of like the National Park Service? Are they a little different? What do you think their impression is?
Well, it's extremely negative because
Thank
the
you.
IRS has been starved for resources. And so
What?
there are
So that's what you would-
insufficient
I don't mean
people.
to cut you off, but I've got even less time than the ranking member does. So you think it's resource related that they have
Absolutely.
have a bad reputation? It's nothing to do with historical culture in the agency or anything like that.
Huh.
The
Is that your
agency
testimony?
has been resource starved.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, that's as stupid a response as you could possibly get from somebody who's a supposedly intelligent person. People hate the IRS because it's resource starved? Because there weren't enough agents?
I swear.
What are you talking about? You know why I don't like the IRS?
Tell me, Pat.
It's because they're about 87,000 agents short of having a decent agency. You know, they don't have enough people to hassle Americans.
Can we arm those theoretical 87,000
Yeah, I think
agents?
so. I think we can give them all weapons.
And training. Okay,
Mhm.
good. Well, this is going to work out great. I mean, that you talk about putting a question on a tee. All she had to say
stupid is
was,
that?
look, nobody likes paying money, especially to the government, but it's our
Right.
civic duty and blah, blah, blah. No.
It's resource starved.
What kind of answer is that?
Jeez. Asinine. It's just an asinine answer. Jeez. Yeah, we've all been clamoring for the IRS to have more money and more agents so they can hassle us even further.
And more guns at their disposal.
More guns.
Am I right?
You're right.
Okay.
You are absolutely correct.
These
and then
people
we're going to love them.
Out of touch.
Once they're able to audit, like every American, we're going to love them a lot more, aren't we? That's when we're really going to turn around on our feelings about the IRS.
Mm-hmm.
If they could only audit more of us, man, that'd be great.
Would be.
If they could only say that more of us owe them even more money than we paid them several years ago and send us letters in the mail about that. Oh, man, I'd love them. I'd love them so much more.
Oddly specific
Is it?
thing you just
Is it?
said.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we need another $6,000 from you from 2020.
Wow, that's, again,
no,
very specific.
I'm just throwing out numbers there. I mean, I don't know of any specific instance where somebody's just received a letter recently about owing them $6,000 more dollars.
To be clear, in this hypothetical scenario that you're dreaming up on the fly here, you're saying that if you were, I'm not saying you are, but if you were upset with the IRS, it has nothing to do with that, right?
No,
It's
because more people don't get those letters.
It's because they're resource
starved. Resource starved.
And you're like, oh, I wish they were.
If only they could share this with everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't that be great?
I mean, based on just anecdotal evidence of all these people that I know that are getting these letters, don't sound resource starved. They got a lot of people sending out envelopes, that's for sure.
No, they don't sound resource starved, do they? They don't even have the 87,000 agents yet, and they're already able to start coming after white people, which they've said.
Thank you.
They're going to target us.
Yes.
And they are.
They have.
And they are.
Under the DEI directive, if you aren't familiar, that Biden charged every federal department to come up with a way to institute this fairness and whatnot. The IRS has developed an AI program to specifically target, for purposes of audit, whites, Asians, and mixed race individuals in the United States. Yeah, I mean, I swear.
It's unreal. Unreal.
I hesitate to even ask rhetorically, can they figure out any more ways to divide us?
Yes, they can. And they're working on it right now. Just when you thought, I mean, there's no other way. They come up with a new way, and it happens almost every day. So, yes, I think they can come up with more ways to divide us. Also, Democrats are really torn on the possible banning of TikTok in America. Something the Biden administration is considering. Democrat Representative Jamal Bowman had this to say about the potential TikTok ban.
150 million Americans are on TikTok right now. 5 million businesses are on TikTok. People use TikTok to earn a living. 150 million Americans, many of them young people, many of them tend to lean Democratic. So if the Democratic Party is a part of shutting down a platform that they have used to build community and to be in a space where they are often accepted and connected with others, in a space where they don't get that on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, it can harm us politically in 2024. But more importantly, it can harm the American people in our sense of well-being, because people find space to be themselves on TikTok that they can't find somewhere else.
Oh, wow. What a powerful argument for TikTok.
I love that, though. Look,
that's great.
We have to have access to low information voters. If you take TikTok away from our propaganda efforts, that's really going to hurt Democrats. And I mean, he's absolutely right. I was looking for the quote. There's some Democrat official, I don't know, but she said that banning TikTok would mean Democrats would lose every voter under the age of 35.
My gosh.
I mean, cool.
Jeez.
Whatever. Remember, again, it's fascinating how something that Trump supported was like the worst idea ever. You could apply this to the vaccine, too. But as soon as it's under a Democrat, it's a great idea. Yes. But some in the party here are pushing back, saying,
yeah. AOC's pushing back.
Yeah.
AOC's defending TikTok. It's interesting, too, that some of these Democrats just got a nice little injection of cash from the Chinese-owned parent company that dumped $150,000 into the Hispanic Congressional Caucus Foundation.
Coincidence.
Just a few months ago. An amazing coincidence.
Sure is.
And then AOC, as luck would have it, starts defending them.
I don't know that I appreciate your insinuation there.
No, I'm not insinuating anything. I'm just saying it's a weird coincidence.
Sure is.
Isn't it?
It's like, whatever.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, whatever. The Chinese regime passed a law in 2017 that requires any organization to assist or cooperate with state intelligence work, which is why this is kind of a problem, because TikTok gathers all this intelligence at the Chinese company, and then the government, the CCP, has access to it all.
Yeah. During that hearing on Thursday, when you had the CEO of TikTok up there trying to claim that the parent company, which you're speaking of, has nothing. We don't talk. I don't talk to them and stuff. It came out that we totally know where journalists are at any given time, thanks to TikTok being on their phone.
Right.
Oh, that's a problem.
It's a problem.
And it's not just journalists; it's your politicians, and that's why they said, we can't have it on a federal government phone. It's you. It's everybody.
The least they could do is do the forced sale of TikTok to an American or a European company. Somebody that we trust a little bit more, I mean, not that much more, but a little bit more than a Chinese company who has to turn over all their information to the Chinese Communist Party.
And this guy kept saying, but Project Texas, Project Texas. Bro, you're not there yet. They're talking about storing this stuff in Texas, and therefore we're talking present tense. Nice try. See what you guys are trying to do. I love it how with TikTok, it's just like everything else with this administration. What they want for you, it doesn't apply to us. John Kirby put on the spot by CBS News about this very issue yesterday. This is fun, or Sunday. What's this?
We showed a video in that last segment of the president on TikTok from a video shot by a celebrity inside the White House. So for the 150 million Americans who still use this app, how do you say to them, sorry, we're going to take it away?
It's not on
It
government.
looks hypocritical.
It's not on government devices. We do have legitimate
Owned
national
on
security
government property.
concerns. We have legitimate national security concerns over TikTok.
It's a useful political platform.
I just would tell you that, again, that our concerns on the national security front are valid.
Wow.
Don't
but
push
she
back.
doesn't care.
Yeah, don't push back on the regime. What are you doing here,
Right.
CBS News? What is this? I thought I was in friendly territory. So what if the president of the United States made a video for TikTok? Don't call us out on that. We don't want you being able to do that.
Man. Now, my thought on TikTok is, why take the chance? I mean, why take the chance? There's something's got to be done. The Chinese spy on us in so many different ways. We don't need yet another one that makes it just so easy for them to infiltrate this country.
Yeah.
And they do it. They do it in so many different ways. They're sending Chinese spies to our universities. They're infiltrating our businesses. They now have wormed their way into our iPhones and iPads. I mean, how many more ways can they spy on us than they already do?
Yeah, and it's not just the tracking that's the issue here. A big topic at the hearing last week was just the overt, the algorithm that it was heartbreaking. They were talking about kids who have committed suicide, and the app basically was promoting videos that promoted suicide and ways to die. It was just heartbreaking. And they're overtly trying to kill us in addition to what they're doing behind the scenes.
Right.
And in fact, the chairwoman of the committee that had this TikTok guy in there, it was somebody put a video up showing a threat to her that was posted before the date of the hearing was known publicly. And they were like, wow. And it was basically a threat to her, a veiled threat of like, it's hard to explain here. But anyway, and they took it down immediately. But after it had been up for 41 days, and they didn't do anything about a threat to a congresswoman.
Incredible.
It's madness.
888-900-3393.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Welcome, Hilary Kennedy from
I know her.
Blaze TV, the 4-Minute Buzz, and of course HilaryKennedy.com. Join us in just a few minutes.
Yeah, and she's also going to help me out with overtime today because I guess you've got other commitments in the building. Or
I do.
Right.
Filling in for Stu again on the Glenn Beck program. An award-winning Hollywood producer and leading figure in the Native American community is accused of lying about her heritage. Tribal Alliance Against Frauds, a watchdog group dedicated to exposing ethnic frauds pretending to be American Indian people, accused 56-year-old Heather Ray of faking her Native American background. Ray identifies as Cherokee. Now, why would you have to have Cherokee genes or DNA in order to identify as such? You don't, right?
It's a perfectly fair question in this society.
Right. Well, it should be perfectly fine. If I can be a man and I just identify as a woman, I don't have women chromosomes in me. I haven't had my unit lopped off. I haven't had any surgery done. But I identify as a woman, so what's it to you?
Right. You've got the White House, the President of the United States, honoring dudes as Women of the Year.
Yeah.
A case can be made by anyone that they're more Cherokee than these dudes are women.
No kidding?
Absolutely.
No
Let's
kidding.
go. Come on.
Because I think, let's see. She used to claim that her mother was Indian and my father was a cowboy. That turns out not to be true. And Tribal Alliance Against Frauds claimed that Ray is a pretendian. I like that term. A pretendian. So she pretends to be an Indian. And they called on her to drop her false claims. That's so great. According to the group, Ray is profiting from appropriating real American Indian voices and perspectives. Which, again, if she identifies as Cherokee, that should be fine.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Now, she, let's see, she claims that she has a possible Cherokee tie now. Apparently, her grandfather was like 1/8 American Indian.
So
either her grandfather or her great-grandfather. But even if it was true, she'd be 2,048th of a percentage of American Indian.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like it would be less than that, but I suck at math, though.
2,048th%, I think. And that's even less than Elizabeth Warren,
right,
if I'm not mistaken, because she was, what, 1,024th?
Help me out
Cherokee?
here. Because what did you say? So let's just go with the furthest out possible. Great-grandfather is what, 1/8?
1/8.
So then wouldn't that make her grandfather 1/16th? And then her father 1/32nd? And then she would be 1/64th?
1/64th.
Which what is the... What is the maximum to qualify for, like...
I think it's 1/16th.
Is it?
Or maybe it's even 1/8.
Might be. It's at least 1/16th.
Yeah. Is that for, like, qualifying for a casino?
For like scholarships and stuff like that. If you're heritage, I think that's as far as it goes.
1/16th.
I may or may not have done some research on this at one point. I think it's at least 1/16th. Let's put it that way.
Okay. All right.
Interesting.
So 1/64th is not going to do it.
But even if it's 2001, whatever the heck you said, that's more than dudes with thingies claiming to be women.
Exactly right. Hilary, coming up.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
And welcome. Pat Gray Unleashed, 888-933-93. We welcome Hilary Kennedy from The Blaze, 4-Minute Buzz, and, of course, HilaryKennedy.com. Thanks for joining us, Hilary.
Thank you. Thanks for the free plug.
Yeah. Let's start out with a fun clip from the Kim Iverson show recently where she asked a question of Alan Dershowitz, and then we'll get your take on it.
One last question. Do you think that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself?
No, of course not. Well, he didn't kill himself without the help of some people. He did kill himself, but he killed himself with the help of guards. He didn't do it by himself. He couldn't have done that. Obviously, though, the videos were turned off, and the guards turned their back, and his cellmate left. So I think he killed himself, but he killed himself with the assistance of some people in law enforcement.
Okay. All right, Mr. Dershowitz. Thank you.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't expecting that answer, but I think you're right. Okay.
Okay. There was, a lot that was that went wrong there in order for him to be able to kill himself. So, yeah, the videos were off. The guards were asleep or whatever.
It was.
They were shopping on Home Network, or I don't know.
It was a white sale. Remember?
Yeah, that's right.
But boy, that was as matter of a fact answer that you could expect from someone.
Of course not.
And he's kind of close to that whole issue of Jeffrey Epstein. Am I right, Hilary?
Well, it's weird because he says, "Oh, of course not," and then he starts backpedaling, and to me, that's what seemed weird. He gives a definitive, like, "Oh, of course he didn't kill himself," and then you see the lights come on, and he's like, "Well, I mean, not by himself.
Well,
there were some other people, but
he got help."
So I saw a tweet yesterday. It kind of sums up what I think. This guy said, "Wow, one of the most formidable attorneys of our generation, ladies and gentlemen, and arguably could not have played that worse. Makes you wonder."
Right.
And it does make you wonder.
Remind everyone what his connection, so to speak, is in theory. with Jeffrey Epstein and everything.
He worked on some legal matters with Jeffrey Epstein. He'd been to that little St. James Island or whatever. So he's on the flight logs, that kind of thing. And he was accused by two women in particular, Virginia Giuffre, who was the most famous, who kind of came out about what happened with Epstein and the trafficking of girls and all that. And so she did say that she was forced to have relations with Alan Dershowitz. He sued her. She eventually backed down and said, I may have made a mistake in saying that this happened. But there's another woman.
Did she buy a car after that, or
well,
maybe a nice new house?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah,
an island.
Might be.
Just wondering.
But there's another accuser. Her name is Sarah Ransom. She was in a deposition where she went into a lot of detail about being involved with Alan Dershowitz and that he knew what was going on and that she was part of a liaison with him. And so I don't know what's going to come of that.
Interesting.
But there's been enough women that have said, yes, he was there, he was involved. He has said, he's maintained his innocence and said, the only woman I've slept with is my wife, nobody else. The times that I went to Epstein's Island was with my wife and children.
Okay.
And he has a very compelling argument as well. He said, I have nothing to hide. He's been very upfront about that. But this particular interview, he also said...
Epstein Island, by the way, very family friendly. I mean, people were taking, family vacations there all the time.
I think you get a discount if you're under 18. Maybe that's not a good joke there. Sorry, I walked into that one. Oh, gosh. This is interesting.
Well, I just think he... Maybe just don't do quite so many interviews anymore because every interviewer is going to ask you about
something else.
Epstein. Well, so when Kim Everson asked him on the show, her team reached out to his rep and said, if he comes on the show, we have to ask about Epstein. And they were like, okay, cool. But when she asked him those questions about it on the air, he said, you're sandbagging me, and this is the last time I'm ever going to come on your show.
Really?
So that's what happened right before the clip we just showed.
Oh, my.
So maybe just don't do as many interviews, Alan, if you don't want to be asked about it or if it's going to give you an opportunity to maybe slip and say something you don't want to say.
Yeah, good point. Good point. All right. So you also have a story about a judge and an OnlyFans account?
So you've heard of Judge Judy.
Wait.
This is Judge Booty.
Judge
That's not really his name. That's a very poor taste.
No,
but
I like it.
His name is Gregory Locke. He's 33. He is a judge in New York City, and he recently got fired because he was moonlighting as a porn star on OnlyFans.
Oh, boy.
He also has an X-rated account on another site called Just for Fans. So he charges $12 a month. He says, white-collar professional by day, very unprofessional by night, always amateur, always raw, always slutty. So this is something that got him into a lot of trouble.
Wow.
Because I think a lot of people would never have even known, except for on Twitter. Someone asked him, what do you do for a living? And it was people that are involved in this sort of seedy internet world. And they said, what's everybody do for a living? And he said, I'm a judge. And then from his personal account, he started tweeting some really nasty things to New York City Mayor Eric Adams. I won't read the tweet because it's really, really in poor taste. And then he also tweeted to a city councilwoman, Vicky Palladino. She was criticizing Drag Queen Story Hour. And so he sent her a very offensive tweet.
Oh, boy.
And so she started looking into, well, who is this guy? And that's when they discovered that he is, in fact, a judge.
Hey, maybe we'll get into this a little bit more
an idiot.
on overtime today.
Yeah, I won't go into the contents here on this show this morning of what's on his OnlyFans, but it is highly disturbing. And so this councilwoman said, the city's got to have faith in its courts at every level, and employing individuals like Mr. Locke in positions of legal authority corrodes the people's trust in the professionalism and impartiality of our institutions. Because he does have very obvious left leanings in all of his tweets. And so she was saying, you can't have that out there. All the OnlyFans stuff aside, you cannot have someone out there putting their views when they're supposed to be impartial.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So it was okay, the porn he was doing on OnlyFans. Yeah. It's just his opinions on Twitter that were, sorry, we can't have that.
That's where we draw the line.
Well, what I found interesting, too, online, so many people were defending him because he makes, they put out there what he makes an hour. It's $58 an hour working as a judge. But people were saying he lives in New York City. the economy is so bad and inflation is so high. What else was he going to do?
So $120,000 salary as a judge.
Right. But I'm sure there's plenty. He doesn't seem to be bothered by the fact he got fired. He went to the Adele concert in Vegas this last weekend and was posting footage of him at the concert and just said, having a great time. And then he was like, did I miss anything? Is anything else going on?
Do we know what he makes an hour as an OnlyFans model?
Well, I know he charges people $12 a month. So I don't know how many people want to see.
And you have that as a recurring charge? Or
Do we know how many people subscribe?
Didn't see that. That's a really good. I will say he did talk about his job though on his OnlyFans account too, saying like I was never going to focus on work if I didn't do this, and then did whatever he does on his OnlyFans account.
And your favorite female fighter in UFC, Holly Holm. She had some post-fight comments that are a little bit, I guess, controversial.
She did, yeah. She won her first win since 2020. It was awesome. I'm so proud of her. She was fighting Yana Santos, and her post-fight interview, she brought up she wanted to end the sexualization of children. She wanted us to do more to protect children. I don't know if we have a clip of that.
Yeah, I didn't think we do.
Use your post-fight speech.
Did you want
use it?
The press conference?
This is great.
You want this one first instead of the ring? Okay.
Use your post-fight speech.
No, there we go.
On my part, and I feel like I have the platform to say it. I need to say it. I just feel it's really sad, all the sexualization of our children right now, and we need to protect them, whatever that may be. Let's protect the children, please.
Protect the children. Stop sexualizing the children.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And then in the post-fight press conference, she expanded those thoughts a little bit.
Use your post-fight speech to use a platform, I believe, to sort of speak out against the sexualization of children. I'm curious if you wanted to use your platform again now to sort of go into further detail.
There's a lot of things. I don't ever want to be, I'm not like a real political person. I don't like to put that stuff on any of my social media or because I think but there's also just right and wrong, and I feel like everybody should be on the same side on that. I don't feel like that has anything to do with left side, right side, or anything like that. I feel like everybody should be wanting to protect our children.
Yes.
And there's stuff there's a lot of child trafficking, and I mean that's like the extreme part, but there's a lot of levels to it. You just see it almost being more accepted, and I think that's really sad. So I just feel like we should all do what we can. I know it's like a lot of people don't even know what to do, but if I can at least have a voice on it, then that's something I can speak out on it. And it's just to get everybody together to protect children. Childhood really affects people in their long-term life too. I mean, I have friends that are adults, and their biggest thing that kind of is this shadow, kind of that dark space in them is being sexualized when they were young. And I just feel like it's almost getting accepted.
Interesting.
Controversial, right?
Yeah, crazy. How dare you talk about the sexualization of children? It would have been nice, though, if she would have been a little more specific. Are you talking about the drag shows? Are you talking about that? Or what are you talking about exactly?
Right. Like, was she talking about transgender issues in sports?
Right.
Is she right? The drag queen story hour? Like, what is it? And because she wasn't very specific, she didn't go quite as far with it as I wished that she had.
Yeah.
It's great that she's putting it out there, though. I just hope that, I think she's dipping her toe in the water. Because like she said, she's not political. She doesn't post anything about politics or hot button issues. She's just there to fight, and that's it. But it was interesting that she chose now to kind of start speaking out. And she did just sign, right before this fight, a 6-fight deal with the UFC, which is huge.
So now she's got some cover.
Yes. And she's a 41-year-old woman getting this deal, which is, it's a really amazing thing. But now she's got this even bigger platform to talk about this further, which I hope the next time she talks about it, she gets more specific.
So we've got at least 6 more press conferences, or do they not let, I'm serious, like after the fight?
Yeah, because win or lose, they'll ask her. Yeah,
oh, nice.
So I hope we hear more from her.
Now, was the fight bloody enough for you?
I mean, it's never really bloody enough, Pat. But no, she did a great, she's really fun to watch. So
she was the first one to beat Ronda Rousey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. They call her she's the preacher's daughter. Her dad is a minister. And so by all accounts, Holly Holm's just a really, really nice, kind, wonderful person. So she's really scary in the ring, though.
All right.
I love it.
So you'll be doing the Blaze's 4-Minute Buzz.
I will, so please continue to tune in.
Not only that, but you're coming up today with Keith.
Got to come back in here
on Overtime.
Yes.
Right?
So, yes, please tune into that,
All right,
too.
Hillary, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
The members of this audience, Pat Heads, are, this is the best audience ever of all time.
Easy.
And several of you came up with the life-saving idea. We're joining forces with Preborn to sponsor an ultrasound machine to help save countless babies for years to come. And this was your idea. These life-saving ultrasound machines cost $15,000, more than most centers can afford. So the plan is we're looking for 30 Pat Heads to rise up who will donate $500 each. All these gifts are tax deductible, of course. And once we reach our goal, this machine will be placed in a needy women's center. And it will be able to show women who are considering abortion the ultrasound. Once they see the ultrasound, they're twice as likely, at least twice as likely to choose life. These precious babies and mothers need our help now more than ever. Here's how you do it. Simply go to preborn.com/Pat, and when you donate, make sure you type Pathead Machine.
Yeah, you just scroll down toward the bottom. There's a comment section.
Okay.
Put Pathead Machine in there.
In the comment section.
In the comment section. Now, before I went out of town, we had been doing this for less than a week, and only, I think, maybe 2, maybe 3 at the most of these requests for the audience, and we were already over a third of the way there. I just sent an email asking if we had an update on that, so hopefully tomorrow
we'll have another update for you.
Yeah, but you guys are so awesome. Thank you.
So we'll have the update. We're trying to get this done by Mother's Day as a special gift to bless hurting mothers and babies who desperately need our help. Will you join us? Remember to note Pathead Machine when you go to preborn.com/Pat for Operation Pathead Machine.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Oh, this is kind of fun. National Geographic has just canceled their geography bee.
What? No, wait, no.
Yeah, because of equity. Okay. So they're not going to do it anymore. It's over. The geography bee is history.
Okay, hold on. What? I can't wait to hear why.
It's because there's too many Asians who are winning this thing. And there's no equity there in who wins these geography bees.
Are Asians the only race of individuals who have access to maps? Is that the problem?
Yes, that is the problem.
See, that does seem unfair.
It's unfair when,
Okay.
when they're the only ones who can get a stinking map or a globe. I mean, you could look at a globe as well.
That's annoying.
It is. I mean, it's round and stuff,
Yeah,
like the actual Earth. I mean, it's just too realistic.
Let's say you're getting your oil change, right?
Right.
And you want to study for the upcoming geography bee.
Right.
You're going to pull out a globe to study?
No.
No.
No,
And so
you're
I
not.
see where they would have the unfair advantage because they have foldable maps among Asians. Okay. What? I don't understand anything.
After 33 years, they decided to end the contest, to cancel it, to make way for new, transformative, and innovative geography education opportunities in which students around the globe can more equitably participate. So, not enough blacks, I guess not enough Hispanics, maybe not enough whites. I don't know. I mean, if a white person won, would that help?
You know, they
I
don't
doubt
take
it.
into, quote, not enough whites, in quote. That's
Never.
never part of calculus of
It
anything.
sure isn't.
Stop. I just...
So, yeah. They need minority representation. However, I thought Asians were a minority. And if you got Asians winning it every time, isn't that pretty inclusive? I don't know. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Also, we were talking about the IRS and the reason people hate it. We heard from Janet Yellen. The reason people hate the IRS is because it's resource poor. Right? They don't have enough resources to do enough audits.
You got it.
On people.
Yeah.
And
they don't have enough ammunition yet, apparently. Either.
Right. When they have 87,000 agents and they can audit everybody in the country, then we're going to like them a lot better. Well, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan demanded that the Department of Treasury and the IRS account for an incident that he considers possible witness intimidation in which an IRS agent visited the home of alternative journalist Matt Taibbi.
Yes.
In light of the hostile reaction to Mr. Taibbi's report among left-wing activists and the IRS's history as a tool of government abuse, the IRS's action could be interpreted as an attempt to intimidate a witness before Congress.
Right. While he was there testifying, an agent shows up at his house and leaves a note. Yeah, we're going to need to talk to you about some stuff.
My gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was a stupid excuse. It was like identity theft, we think, happened with your 2018 and 2021 tax return. You couldn't just mail me a letter.
Wow.
You couldn't do this before I appeared in front of Congress, like the same exact day. This is not good. This is not a healthy nation.
Well, let me tell you something. It's this kind of stuff that's going to make us love the IRS.
That's right.
More than we ever have before.
You got it.
This is what we've been waiting for. It's the IRS.
A guy speaking out
Yeah.
on collaboration between the government and big tech.
Yeah.
Gets a visit from the IRS while testifying in front of Congress.
It's exactly what we need. Right there. That's what we need.
What a sick nation.
Oh, my gosh.
This is
Yeah,
dangerous. We are in such dangerous territory, bro.
really
I don't even
are.
see the exit anymore.
I know. I know. It's a little bit frightening right now. Meanwhile, there's a Rand Paul staffer who was stabbed in Washington, D.C. There is, fortunately, a suspect in custody. A staffer for Republican Kentucky Senator Rand Paul was brutally stabbed and is in serious condition in the hospital right now.
Yeah, he had life-threatening injuries for sure.
Rand said, this past weekend, a member of my staff was brutally attacked in broad daylight in Washington, D.C. I ask you to join Kelly and me in praying for a speedy and complete recovery and thanking the first responders, hospital staff, and police for their diligent actions. Jeez. Anybody talking about that in Washington?
No. Come on now.
No.
No. And the guy, by the way, had been released less than 24 hours earlier.
Oh, my gosh.
So, and I'm sure, and I honestly have no idea. I'm sure, though, the individual, I'm sure he served a full sentence before getting released.
Oh, of course, as they always do in D.C., because, man, they're tough on crime there, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're tough on crime.
Well, they are if you parade or mill on a specific day, 1/6/21.
In a specific place. Yeah, you might mill around a mall somewhere, but you don't mill around the U.S. Capitol building.
In other words, milling and parading, much bigger criminal offense in Washington, D.C. than inciting a riot at the U.S. Capitol.
No question. And he's pissed off now. He is.
Let's go.
He is suing.
Good.
And I think.
Good.
For defamation, right?
Let's get it out in court. Let's go.
Let's do
this.
it.
Yep. Come on now.
Let's do it. I hope he follows through with it because.
Let's look at your texts. Let's find out who you've been communicating with day of, day before, who your contacts in the government are, what they were telling you, and exactly what you did on that footage that Speaker McCarthy has released.
That's really the best thing that could happen is for him to launch a lawsuit against people. So you got a bunch of discovery going on.
Daylight time. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's put some sunshine on this particular situation and see who the hell you are and what you were doing and why you're not paying the price that others who did much less than you are paying. How about that?
Oh, I did hear, by the way, the shaman is going to be released real soon. I think a family member, his mom, somebody tweeted out something. So,
are you kidding?
No, I'm not.
That has to have something to do with the footage.
I have to see.
Right?
Yeah, I just saw it one time.
Oh my gosh!
And I didn't see anything.
Yeah, look
else.
and see if you can find that because that's fascinating.
Yep.
If that's true, you know the footage that Tucker Carlson was playing had something to do with that.
Absolutely. Let's see. Yeah. His mom said 5 days ago in an exclusive interview with a Gateway pundit that her son, Mr. Chansley, there will be released from prison, quote, really soon.
Wow. Because he got, 4 years? So that would be fantastic if that's true. That'd be an early release. Meanwhile, 2 new polls from a top Republican polling firm provided exclusively to Axios finds Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is running more competitively with former President Trump in Iowa and New Hampshire than he's faring in national surveys. And see, that's kind of important because if you do really well in the first couple of primaries, that kind of catapults you.
Get you some traction.
Yeah, it does. The surveys conducted by Public Opinion Strategies from March 21st to 23rd found DeSantis leading Trump by 8 points.
Whoa.
In a head-to-head matchup in Iowa and tied 39-all in New Hampshire. In a more crowded field, including Nikki Haley and Vivek Ramaswamy, DeSantis was tied with Trump in Iowa and trailed him by 12 points in New Hampshire.
Okay.
Interesting. That is interesting. So, anyway, you're going to see who... is it Thomas Massey that put together the Donald Trump montage that you're going to play in overtime today?
Yeah, kind of a refresher.
Yeah.
From 2020.
Make sure you don't miss overtime today because it's going to be fascinating. Keith and Hilary Kennedy will be holding down the fort. I'll be joining Glenn for the Glenn Beck program, filling in for Stu. And don't forget, Easter is coming up, so you want to get your Kexi cookies ordered right now. KEKSI.com. Kexi.com. We have these new, really delicious carrot cake cakes that you got to try them. They're really, really good, along with a bunch of new cookies as well. Anyway, we'll see you on overtime and tomorrow.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.